Just trying to get some space opened up on my computer before I begin. Noticing a lot of activity around me. And I think it's interesting that if some people are better at just staying still, which doesn't necessarily mean that we are not advancing, particularly as human beings, like the potential, as souls, you know, what do we need? I think that there is sanctuary we need to consider, which has already been something that we have done. We can see it on the planet, like, oh, you go to here and go to there. But you notice how there's more hospitals than there are. There's more just get your enrollment into Kaiser Permanente or whatever Permanente illness you are to settle into, because look at how the system has mixed everything up. It's so mixed up, see, and they would want to do this, and I don't think, they would want to do this because it's was organized, right? There's too much of the possibility of organization that could happen. Why not do something different? And so, but that's how capitalization, and I don't mean it in wording, I mean the money thing, would happen if there was imbalance enough and there was in need, right? Let's boil it down to pretty much everything, right? Comment section down below. Hit like and subscribe if you're just tuning in on the conversation loosely. I think the best way to listen to this particular kind of conversation is when you're kind of dozing in and out of sleep. But anyway, getting back to what was I even talking about? Well, it's an ongoing thing, but really, what is it but just people that kind of go, excuse me, and then they can't do anything about it. More like, if you notice how incredibly thick the deception is, and how now, if we consider the so-called monetary system, or say it's the security system, really, it's the big black boot kind of feel, where it's like, excuse me, but I would really like to be able to relax my body into the essentials. If there is such a thing as essential work, there's three things we should be maintaining here. And I say we back way up and stop treating it as like we just think we just landed here and we don't know what we're doing. On all scales, you see, if we can get cleaning the water right and feeding each other correctly, three things: safe shelter, clean waters, and then the clean foods. If we can feed, particularly our visitors, our neighbors, strangers, people, like nobody will be starving because we just learned how to do that. And not only that, it's not poisonous. And money isn't the big issue there for that, is it? See, since I grow my own apples, I do not pay for apples. Since I've been growing my own eggs, chickens, I haven't bought a carton of eggs. Well, I admit, aside for a couple, when you think you really need eggs, just being honest, but mainly I eat my chicken's eggs. There's no comparison after a while. After a while, you are darn sure that you're programming these little puppies, and you're programming how they taste, and that you're programming their little personalities for sure. Yes, if you do it up to the max, you have chickens that are in your lap while you're doing your laptop. But anyway, the possibility of it being a humane society has yet to emerge, people. But see, once we do a little certain adjustment like that, imagine how our technologies would work for us. Like this thing in general. It's already up and running, but is it of any use? No. basically how putrid and see, this is just generational. It's just generational. It is so bad right now, the way that it's sticking out, that I don't even want to talk about this, but it has to do with men and women, and I think it's the poor programming. See, one one out of one of them, they okay. Here we go again with your subject of narcissism, and what is the possibility of one that disease or problem or whatever being prevalent in one? I could just tell my face just got really serious, like, because what are we going to do about it? See, I'm not saying that. We don't say that it's mainly found in men, the disease that is the mind when it's left unmanaged. Now, how does it? What is the nature of it? The mind, the nature of the mind when it's left unmanaged and like up and running and like thinking, hey, I'm the shit, baby, and basically is ruthless, is, I would say, as good as deadly. It's at all costs. It wants to think that it is what it is beyond what is happening in the moment, other people, reality, kindness, and even sanity. So we can carry on with this conversation that needs to go on hot and heavy for the rest of our days. Because there are two types of people to find here on this planet. One of them isn't so succumbed to that, and they are a savior. The other one isn't saved yet. There you go. What's the religion again? Let me just make some space, and we'll keep continuing talking here. Because that now that we know that it's kind of isolating itself to one side of the organism throughout history. It's not, but it's prevalent in women. Sorry, I'm trying to do something here. Since the 80s, I guess, is what the scientist is saying, that women are showing up with the. See, it comes hand in hand, and I've said this before. Is it a serious subject matter? Are we concerned with it? If you're concerned with the quality of the human relationship, possible human relationships on the planet, yes, you have, if you have any kind of dream, anything real, this is the one conversation that has to be put up on the table. No matter what, I see it happening already, especially if you're a healer. A healer of any kind. Why do you want to change it from this kind of tool to that kind of tool? Well, because some narcissist created it, and it's fucking stupid. We have to go to this system where it's not. But what are we talking about when we say narcissist? What got in the way of that subject matter? We don't even know what we're talking about now. Narcissist, okay, but what is it? The mind. The mind, being fully encapsulated mind, and somebody who imagines a life to be, and their feelings come from only, see, that place of that information field is really important to open this up, like, because there's two ways to get feeling here. And if you're just somebody like, okay, so like how that they do the snapshot, they're only dealing with objects in their mind. So uh you know it's just basically like this. The relationship with a narcissist, it's like you have this, you have to maintain this, like, this cardboard ideal of yourself to them. Not really, though. That's what's happening in their mind. And so it's basically like this: red, 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 red. But now like, they tune into reality. If maybe after 2 weeks, they hear you say yellow, yellow, yellow. And it's like, no, wait a minute. It was red in my mind. You said yellow just now. You changed. You changed. Unstable you are, and I knew it. And bye. And there goes the narcissist, and it's like, you weren't even listening to what we were saying 2 weeks ago, let alone now. That's the problem. They give them 2 weeks, and they had a relationship. And it's over now, and it's like, wait, it didn't even begin. You mean reality crept in? There was a problem there, and then wow. But give it a couple years. Give it 2.5 years. That's really what we're talking about, narcissist. If you want to know this, the real way to live, the real way that we have observed that it happened, that has been logged in already throughout history. That where are those books? Where are these people that can look each other in the eye and say, no, this is really how it went. It takes time to get to know somebody. And if you're not somebody who pays attention, it doesn't matter how much time you were there. So, I don't know, man. You know what I mean? Things kind of. There's two types of people here. And is there an in-between? Hell yeah, there is. That means that shit needs to fucking wake up to the fact that there's two types to run into here. And we are not really necessarily talking about men and women. We are talking about, how'd you like this banter, you guys? How do you like it? Well, let's look at the planets right now and how they affect the Libra generation. It's very intense what we're going through. And of course it has to do with men and women. As long as we're talking about the Libra generation, Libra rules that opposites thing in the relationships and the getting together of the two opposites. Possibly, really, they are known so pathetically to want peace, at all costs. It's not a very good thing, at all costs. It's not right. You know, um, that's one part of say relating as you want things to work out, I guess, but really, what is it? At all costs. What costs of what? There shouldn't ever be the cost of your own awareness being sacrificed over over anything, right? Because how will you serve anything justice if it needed help or not, or whatever it needed? I mean, life is tedious. It's not just peaches and cream. It's not black and white. What is worth sacrificing your awareness? Um, Nothing, because that thing, whatever it is, nothing else would be worth damned looking into. What is the point? But getting back into that possible middle faction that is, sorry, there's a big fly in here. Um, that is unaware that they need to become aware of something, and what side have you been serving, and are you aware now, and can you clean up? And that starts to reflect on the kinds of stuff we are ingesting on all levels, really, our food, um, our entertainment. And anyway, thanks for listening to all of this. I was looking for my glasses so I could do a little bit of astrology, and I don't know why I can't find them right in front of my face here. Usually that's where they are, right? Weird. But pardon my demeanor. It's just, I'm somebody who's actually very physically active, and I haven't been able to be, and that's a real problem. It's like, okay, so what do people like me do? Like, say, because I'm nearing 50, and it's like, well, okay, so don't get out there and fucking do work. What the fuck kind of a conversation is this anyway? Well, I'll tell you what kind of a conversation it is. Um, I'm a woman, and perhaps my activities are different. Say that they need to change up a little bit. Well, I've been doing a lot of the men's work that I needed to do. This stupid fucking. Thank God for editing. These issues are coming up within the organism. What is the place of men and women here? I am not kidding. The nodes in Aries, um, the North Node in Aries, see, that means that our goal is the independence of the Aries vibration, who is Mars ruled, which points at mankind or men. But we're talking about scientific makeup here, our positioning. Uh, See, masculine, basically both men and women have masculine qualities to honor, and both men and women have feminine qualities to completely diss and neglect and say it doesn't exist, just keep chugging away and ignore all the disease happening because of that. Thank you. I'm getting sick and fucking tired of seeing so fucking clearly. I do my way of anesthetization, which is I think it's more of a spiritual practice that keeps me from the illusion of saying that I need to have anything to do with what is out there saying, hey, you can't, you damned if you do and damned if you don't, or like, can't live with them, can't live without them, whatever. How long does this fucking stupid fucking tour last? I don't even like this subject matter of becoming biased about men and women and what is the possibility that they two exist, you know what I mean? I have an autobiography that I can tell you about my childhood growing up as something that I didn't have hair until the age 4. So I looked like a freaking boy. My hairline is male. If you knew a male executive, this is called that you're sexually matured now as a male. Do you see this? I have a male's hairline. So when I was a little boy, girl, whatever you want to, I want to do an autobiography because okay, I'll let you in on it. Is that there was a part of my soul, or there is a part of my soul still, or whatever, that knew for sure that I was a boy here to experience myself as a male. And then there was a little bit of a disappointment, when I figured out that that wasn't the case, because here I am getting in my body, and I'm telling you, I should tell these stories because it's all stuff that has come up over my lifetime, and I'm like, down to this fucking video. What a way to fucking get rid of a bunch of subscribers. Bye! Hang in there for the. Just try to you don't need to tell us your story too. Whatever it was that like you had this question. Have you been denying your own experience and you are not that passionate in just going on a journey yourself? Go on a journey yourself. Shrug it off, all of the world, and say, I'm going on a journey. and and see for yourself. And write a stupid book about it. Bug people for 16 minutes and then make it clueless at about around 15 minute 15 and 30. Like, and fine with all of a sudden, we figure out, oh, no wonder I come back as a woman. First of all, that's a reward. I'm about to tell you I am steaming with this shit having to do with men and women and what is actually happening here universally. I come across some information all my life, and I'm kind of just paying attention. And now it's time to amplify it and say, oh, excuse me, yeah, by the way. And watch, yeah, look at what is boiling up right now as programming working like clockwork. Where my kind, and if you're a male with feminine qualities, really, if you're just, okay, now, when I say my kind, see, I'm a woman, babes, and we are sensitive, and in quality, we seem to um, have a simplicity about us that says, no, let's not do that because it's not healthy. Let's do it this way because it's more healthy. Let's do it a different way because it's more like I said, at the beginning of this video, I'm talking about, can we not pour poisons into the water that way? And why did you get rid of that technology that builds things like that? And why the hell are we living in fucking paper clothing with paper lives now? Where it's just huff and puff and blew that house down, no problem. And you're everything. Just a little bit, just one little pinch off, and your fucking life is upheavaled and chase us around like fearful living cows. What the fuck? We're supposed to believe that we're constantly raising up out of caves and the dirt. Just as little as how many hundreds of years ago, babes? See, history lasts as long as the people who can look each other in the eye and say, this is what happened. And I come from my great-grandpa. My great-grandpa was half Osage Indian. Half Osage Indian. He was blood. His mother was full-blooded Osage. And see, she was a maid to the family who was called the Horn family, with an E at the end. Silent, by the way. But they were Irish, of Irish heritage. That Horn family part, also French, really a weird combination, but they were related to the ones who stood on the cliff and called the sheep home with the big horns. And so here we are in the United States having, in this place called the America, where, they landed in India. They thought they landed in India is why they called them Indians. Anyway, just trying to, what is the point of the story? Is just, can we shake that? I mean, were we supposed to interbreed with each other? I say yes, and um, that is because through technology, whatever we build, whatever we are using, see, it isn't to be used to harm. It's to expand and coexist and create from there. Now, why it looks like the way it does, why we have to listen to the bullshit that they say has happened in order for it to be the way it is now, is like a whole other can of worms. And does that matter? See, thanks for listening to all this. My concern is like, well, is this really your concern, Shauna? Well, really, I have the same concerns as everybody else, but I think that there's something going on. You can call it from cradle to the grave, and then generationally. It's an obvious thing. That generational thing, see, that happens. See, when do people, usually they'll have a kid, well, in their 20s, right? So, there's a saying that says it skips a generation. What is it? Well, say, the real live struggle to keep intellectual property as what works. Because why? Well, there could be something influencing that keeps a raking of that, right? We talk about that kind of thing. See, we're talking about what generates and what is now talk about the word reforming, but boy, um, there's always a faction. See, there's a faction of people now. We're hitting a blind spot, and it comes to this fucking subject matter of men and women and what happened to women. And I don't see this subject matter always points at, what men went barbaric and they have killed off them, and it's like, well, yeah, I know, yeah, they are more apt. It's not that women can't kill either. We have stories of women killing. That's not the subject matter here. The subject matter is, why can't they get their fucking shit together? What drives them? What is more important? What drives them away from that simple being able to get along and do something that makes sense in case it's the fucking children we're watching? Comment section down below. Thank you. 2320.